So
Where did you go for your MFA?
I went to ICP Bard College. So the International Center of Photography has a joint program with Bard in New York City. And there's about like 12 photo MFAs who are in residency there for 2 years. And people come from like all different backgrounds. I would say like there's some documentary photographers. There are some people who are fine artists, some people who have never done art before but are like theorists and are interested in photography. And then you have a wide range of people, but and a wide range of ages, and I loved my MFA program. Like I think it was pretty groundbreaking and like an amazing experience, and I like shared and I learned a lot, and I really appreciate the time and space that I decided to take myself and not go to grad school in Canada.
Right.
Could have gone to OCAD or Concordia, but I wanted to make a big leap, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it seems like it's had that impact on your work as well.
Yeah.
Which is really significant.
Yeah, which you can see.
Yeah, absolutely. What was it like being and working in New York? As opposed to here?
Expensive.
Yeah.
Very expensive. I'm still in major debt from my MFA, but it's interesting. I feel like it's so ironic. The experiences of living in New York is really tough because the disparity between the haves and have-nots is even greater than Toronto. Toronto, I feel like, is a much better place to live and just exist. But for some reason, the art scene in New York was way more welcoming
Okay.
than Toronto.
How do you mean?
I feel like there's so many different kinds of art circles in New York that you'll fit into one of them.
Right.
You can fit into the Lower East Side, you can fit into Brooklyn, you don't have to be in the Chelsea commercial art scene. I feel like, and there's a lot of women who are working, or at least I've met women photographers in New York that I admire and love wholeheartedly. And at the time, there weren't a lot of women photographers working in Toronto or even just no one in Canada. And that was a big, reason why I kind of left. There was no one I really wanted to work with. And I felt like Toronto, at least in the photo scene, was very narrow-minded.
Wow.
And like you have to make a certain kind of work to be recognized. And I feel like it's a very homogeneous art scene.
Yeah.
And it's not how your work looks, it's what you're talking about. And if you don't fit in to what is trendy or what, the big words of the scene are, then it's not really paid attention to. And moving to New York and like showing there, I felt like it didn't matter. Like it was actually more interested in different kinds of photographs and what photographs could mean. So I still think like Canadian photographers need to catch up a little bit or even like expand. I mean, really the only person who I can think of is like Sarah Swinar or Jessica Eaton, who are making really, really cutting edge photographs or thinking about the photograph in a different way. And otherwise it's very like beautiful silver gelatin print, and I'm like not at all.
Right.
Like I'm like interested in bucking that system and tearing and ripping and folding my photographs. So I don't feel like the Toronto scene is as welcoming. Even now I don't feel that way. Not just for my own work, but for other really interesting work that's being made that no one is paying attention to because they're so busy focusing on 3 or 4 people that they want to hold up anyways. Yeah. Sorry, that's my little rant about
No, I don't think you're sorry about that at all.
You could edit that out, right?
But it sounds like it's kind of like it was easier maybe to find community when you were in New York in a way.
Yes. But it was harder to live there.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. The great paradox.
Yeah.
Whereas maybe here, and I wonder if it's got something to do with how big the audience is too.
Oh.
You know, because I'm thinking like New York is gigantic, obviously, right? And I think that's what happens sometimes is like when you narrow the pool down of people who are actually interested in something, then it kind of edits out some of the more cutting edge stuff.
Yeah, no, you're right. Like, I remember the first time I went to, as part of our program in the first year, we have to have a table at the New York Art Book Fair. And I was like, oh, I didn't know there was an art fair about books. That's so cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I realized, oh, this is a regular thing that's been around in New York for like 10 decades.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I moved back to Toronto in 2015, Toronto had its first Toronto Art Book Fair.
Right.
So it's just like, I mean, I don't want to illustrate how behind the times Toronto is, but like it is a growing audience.
Yeah.
And that's what
yeah.
you're saying. That
And I think that happens across like all disciplines in the arts and here, where it's just kind of like that one step, not quite yet there.
yeah,
You know.
but it is getting there now that we
Yeah.
have two. We have Edition and we have Toronto Art Book Fair.
Yeah.
So
And there's a growing interest in it as well, right? Like it's like if you build it, they will come, right? But the building it takes a lot of effort because.
yeah, yeah, you're right. The audience, I think, is a big thing. And then certain galleries are shutting down.
Critical mass, I think, too. You know.
Yeah, totally. So